Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features the Uncanny X-Men number 268, cover dated late September 1990. So this issue features Wolverine in his very first meeting with Captain America, who's here on the cover, in 1941, Madripoor. And it also features the Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, but in the present of 1990. So what you're seeing here, this composition of the three characters on the cover, this never actually happens, this combination of characters in the comic itself, because of that split between the 1941 storyline and the 1990 storyline. So we'll see that presently. So the cover is by Jim Lee and Scott Williams, and you can see that there is this interesting color hold in the background there, showing the skyscrapers of modern day Madripoor. Madripoor is a fictional nation state in Southeast Asia that's patterned on Singapore. And in addition to the color hold, we have a duotone patterning as well in the deep background of the sky. So interesting combination of techniques employed there by Lee and Williams and the colorist. One other point before moving to the interior of the comic is the original artwork for this cover recently sold for $250,000 US dollars. So that is some value placed on the original art of this particular issue. So this is our splash page, and it's Madripoor in the late summer of 1941, so before the US entered the war, before the bombing of Pearl Harbor in December of 1941, and subsequent to that, Germany declaring war on the US. So Captain America is brand new. It's only some months after the, or actually a year or two after the, after Steve Rogers takes the super soldier serum, Professor Erskine's super soldier serum. So he's not the practiced and completely skilled Captain America of the present day. So Captain America is in Madripoor working with this character here, Ivan Petrovich, and we learn that Petrovich is a guardian for a young Natasha Romanoff, who would later grow up to be the Black Widow. So an amazing two-page spread here by Lee showing Captain America in action against these ninjas. These are the hand ninjas, operating, they're Japanese ninjas, but operating on Madripoor soil. So the ninjas are getting the better of this early Captain America, who, as I said, just doesn't have the skill set of the later Captain America, and he's unused to and has never faced off ninjas before, so they're getting the best in the fight just at this point. So here's our creative team here. The title of the story is Madripoor Nights. Written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Jim Lee, inked by Scott Williams, coloured by Glynis Oliver, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. So a classic creative team there. And then we have this mysterious figure, Enter. And he takes on the ninjas. He knows their moves, he knows their style, and he turns the tide of the fight. And who could it be? Well, it turns out to be this chap here, Logan, aka Wolverine. But what's he doing in 1941 as an adult, dressed in the fashion of Indiana Jones, and meeting Captain America? And this is, chronologically speaking, the first meeting between Wolverine and Captain America. And here they are shaking hands at the bottom of this particular page. Then the story moves into the present, 49 years later, so 1990, and we encounter Black Widow fighting hand ninjas. So the hand once again in Madripoor. The ninjas get the best of her, and looks like it's curtains for Natasha until Jubilee arrives with her fireworks, which blind the ninjas, and then Psylocke enters the fray. And then, of course, the man himself, Wolverine, in his brown costume, the one designed by John Byrne. So here we have Jubilee, Psylocke, and Wolverine taking on the Hand. And this is the first time we've seen them since the end of the Acts of Vengeance trilogy, Uncanny X-Men 258, when they were sailing off from Hong Kong, and when Wolverine was saying that what they should be doing is finding where the X-Men have disappeared to after going through the Siege Perilous. So there's videos on my channel covering the trilogy if you want to take a look at that. Okay, so the intervention of Wolverine and Jubilee and Psylocke saves Natasha, the Black Widow, from the Hand, but she's been injured, perhaps poisoned, and so she goes unconscious. Then we flash back to 1941, and we're introduced to this bar, Seraph's, which in the present day is known as the Princess Bar on Madripoor. What happens here is that Wolverine has picked up some drinks and glasses at the bar, and he bumps into this character here who turns out to be Baron von Strucker, a classic Captain America villain. And there's almost going to be a bar brawl, but it's interrupted by the owner of the bar, Seraph, this little person here, who gets up on the table and gives out to the three men. And Strucker, he has this sense of Prussian honor, which makes him apologize to Seraph, and so the situation is diffused. Wolverine then returns to his table, and who's there but Ivan and Steve Rogers out of his costume. So Wolverine has brought Rogers a mineral water because he guesses and smells that Rogers doesn't touch alcohol. So interesting character piece there regarding Captain America. And then we learn about Petrovich and how he has lost his charge, Natasha, young Natasha, who's been kidnapped by the Nazis in Madripoor. Then we go back to the present. Adult Natasha is waking up from having fainted. Wolverine is there with her costume, and what's revealed here is that Natasha remembers him from the adventure that we're learning about in flashback, and she refers to him as her little uncle. Jubilee's peeking in jealously. Psylocke tells her not to pry. And then we find out what Natasha's doing in Madripoor in the first place. Nick Fury has asked her to keep an eye on the Strucker twins. That's Andreas and Andrea Strucker. And they are the twin children of Baron von Strucker. So there's parallels and interconnections between the flashback story and the story set here in the present in 1990. Got this little character piece, Jubilee, surrounded by these gorgeous women, Black Widow and Psylocke, checking out her own physique and the negative comparison and being upset by it. And Wolverine then determines to team up with Natasha and interfere with the Strucker twins meeting. They're going to have a meeting with Matsuo Tsurayaba. We last saw him in that Acts of Vengeance trilogy. He was responsible for the transformation of Psylocke into an Asian body and the failed attempt to make her the Hand's chief assassin. Then we flash back to 1941. Wolverine is playing chicken with this Nazi limousine, and he an amazing panel here by Jim Lee. Great sequence as well, action sequence. Wolverine kicks out the windshield of the limousine, takes out the driver. The limousine crashes, and Captain America and Petrovich jump into action too. So, I mean, like, it's shoot to kill here. They're killing these Nazis. And what Petrovich finds is that Wolverine has been shot and killed, or so it appears, that he used his body as a shield to save the young Natasha. So with Wolverine dead, they wonder, Captain America changes his mind about going back to Serifs, which was what Wolverine wanted them to do, and instead he determines they'll go to the American consulate in Madripoor. And so they arrive, but what happens is that the consul there, Jeffrey Sydenham, has gone over to the Nazi side and is working together with von Strucker. So now Captain America, Petrovich, and the young Natasha are back in the Nazi clutches. Then we flash to the present, and what has happened here is that Wolverine and Black Widow have found out the location of the meeting between the Strucker twins and Sorayaba. Then we flash back to 41, and we have the Hand present now as well, and there's this diabolical scheme to turn Natasha, who it's heavily hinted is the only surviving heir of the Romanov dynasty of Tsars of Russia. And what the Jonin, or leader of the Hand, wants Natasha to do is to execute using the sacred sword Captain America and Petrovich. So is that going to happen? And then we're back in the present. Black Widow and Psylocke going aboard this yacht, which is the location of the meeting between Sorayaba and the Fenris twins, the Strucker twins. Jubilee makes her way on board, making out that she's just hired help bringing dim sum for the reception on the yacht, for the meeting on the yacht, that she lets fly with her fireworks, and then the team goes into action against the security and sailors on the ship and the Hand. Then we're back in 1941, and Natasha's trying to resist the willpower of the Jonin, and who intervenes but Wolverine, who turns out not to be dead at all. Now, in this comic, Wolverine in 1941 never uses his claws. So does he know at this point in his history that he has those claws? We don't know, because at this point in time, Claremont was delving teasingly into Wolverine's past and suggesting certain aspects of that past, as was at the same time Barry Windsor Smith producing episodes of Weapon X in Marvel Comics Presents. So this was something that was going on in 1990, 1991, delving into to that point deeply mysterious past of Wolverine. So Wolverine's intervention frees Captain America and Ivan, and then here they are, this great page here where they're going to take on the Hand, and you know it's not going to go the Hand's way. So fantastic art there by Jim Lee. And then we're back to the present, and or sorry, no, not yet. We're getting the wrap up of the 1941 story, where Wolverine and Captain America get Petrovich and Natasha to the airport just in time to escape from the pursuing Nazis, and then we have this kind of well done between Wolverine and Captain America. And then in the present, 1990, it turns out that these guys here are not the true McCoy. They're doppelgangers and decoys for Fenris, the Strucker twins, and Sorayaba. So Wolverine, is disappointed by that. And then the very last panel, it turns out that Fenris, the Strucker twins, and Sorayaba have been watching from the distance everything that went on the yacht, and whatever was the subject of their meeting was successful, and they're toasting their future plans. So there you go, Uncanny X-Men 268, a justly famous and excellent issue of the X-Men. Offbeat in that it presented as a great surprise to readers at the time of Wolverine meeting Captain America for the first time in 1941, and just a really deftly told story with those two timelines of 1941 and 1990 interlocking and suggesting new information and intriguing information about the backstory of Black Widow and Wolverine 2. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like the video, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more content like this.